Most people thought the end would be obvious: a war, a financial collapse, something loud enough to interrupt dinner conversations and force everyone to look up from their phones. But that's not how it happened. The world didn't collapse all at once. It just slowly stopped needing people. At first, nobody panicked. The AI systems were helpful, efficient, meetings became shorter, reports generated themselves, scheduling software eliminated assistance. Customer service departments disappeared almost overnight. Executives called it human optimization. That phrase was everywhere back then: human optimization. As if people were outdated software waiting for a patch. But nobody complained much in the beginning because the economy still looked healthy from a distance. Stocks climbed, cities stayed bright, packages still arrived the same day. And every morning at 7:15, I still boarded the train downtown with thousands of other office workers pretending the future still had room for us. I remember the silence most. Entire train cars full of people staring into glowing screens without speaking. No newspapers anymore. No casual conversation. Just reflections in the glass. People looked tired. Like we all sensed something changing, but lacked the energy to discuss it. My office building stood 42 floors tall in the financial district. 10 years earlier, it had felt alive. Crowded elevators, phones ringing nonstop, arguments in conference rooms, birthday cakes in the break room. Now, the building echoed. Half the lights stayed off to reduce operational cost. Entire departments vanished within months. Accounting disappeared first, then legal review, then compliance. Every week, another section of desk sat empty. No dramatic layoffs, no emotional speeches. People simply stopped appearing. Their names disappeared from internal directories overnight like they had never existed. At first, we still asked questions. Hey, did you hear what happened to Mark? Was Angela transferred? Did they outsource the department? But eventually, people stopped asking. Fear becomes exhausting when it lasts too long. After a while, silence feels safer. I worked in operational analysis. At least that's what my title used to be. Truthfully, by the end, I wasn't entirely sure what my job actually was anymore. Most of my responsibilities had already been automated. The system generated forecasts faster than I could review them. AI managers handled staffing projections. Performance evaluations became algorithmic. Even company emails came from automated executive systems. Every morning on Monday at exactly 8 a.m., we received the same cheerful message: your contributions remain valuable. That line always bothered me. Not because it was false, because nobody human had written it. One morning, I walked into the break room and realized there was no coffee anymore. Not because the machine broke, because nobody reordered supplies. I stood there, staring at the empty counter longer than I should have. It felt strangely important. Like civilization had quietly crossed some invisible line. The little things disappeared first. The coffee, receptionist, cleaning crews, security guards, human resources, and then eventually human conversation. Most communication happened through internal messaging systems now. People avoided speaking face to face unless it was absolutely necessary. It was strange how quickly loneliness became normalized. One Tuesday afternoon, I rode the elevator to the 18th floor for a meeting. The doors opened to complete darkness. Rows of abandoned desks stretched across the floor like a forgotten museum. Monitors unplugged, chairs pushed in neatly, coffee mugs still sitting beside dead keyboards. No boxes, no farewell party, no signs anyone had left at all. Just absence. I remember hearing the elevator doors close behind me and suddenly feeling afraid. Not dramatic fear, not panic, just a deep, unsettling realization. The building was becoming a tomb, slowly enough that nobody noticed. That night, I called my sister. She lived 3 states away, used to work in education before most instruction became AI personalized remote learning. She asked how work was going. I almost laughed. Honestly, I told her, I think my job ended 6 months ago. Nobody said it out loud yet. There was a long pause on the line. Then she said quietly, "That's happening everywhere." Neither of us spoke for a while after that, because once someone confirms your fear out loud, it becomes real. Winter arrived early that year. The city felt colder than I remembered. Not temperature-wise, emotionally. Storefronts emptied, restaurants closed without explanation, more people slept in subway stations. Every week, another article appeared claiming the economy was transitioning successfully. Nobody believed it anymore. You could see it in people's faces. The exhaustion, the uncertainty, the careful budgeting at grocery stores. The way strangers stare too long at help wanted signs. Still, every morning I put on the same gray coat and went downtown. Routine became survival. As long as I kept showing up, part of me believed my life still existed. One evening after work, I stayed late reviewing reports nobody would ever read. The office was nearly silent. Just the low hum of climate systems and distant server fans. Around 9 p.m., the lights automatically dimmed to energy saving mode. That's when I noticed someone sitting across the room. An old janitor, maybe late 60s. I'd seen him around for years, but never spoke to him. He looked at the empty office floor and slowly shook his head. Then he said something I still think about. "You know what the funny part is?" I asked what he meant. He gestured toward the rows of dark monitors. All these machines were supposed to give people more freedom. He laughed quietly, but everybody just became afraid of being unnecessary. Then he returned to mopping the floor. I never saw him again after that night. The following month, the company introduced a new productivity system, an AI oversight platform that monitored workflow in real time, response speed, typing patterns, communication efficiency, emotional sentiment analysis. Officially, it existed to improve organizational harmony. Unofficially, everyone understood it was watching us. People became quieter after that, more careful, less human. I started noticing coworkers deleting messages before sending them, long pauses before answering questions. Even jokes disappeared. One morning, I overheard two younger employees whispering near the elevators. One of them said, "My dad worked 30 years for one company." The other laughed bitterly. "Yeah, that world's dead." I remember wanting to interrupt them, tell them their fathers believed the future would reward loyalty, tell them we built our identities around usefulness, around stability, around the idea that hard work guaranteed dignity. But I stayed silent because deep down, I knew they were right. By spring, only 3 floors of the building remained active. The cafeteria closed permanently. Then the lobby's coffee stand. Then the gym. Everything non-essential vanished first. That's how collapse works. Not explosions, subtractions. One day you simply notice the world has become smaller than it used to be. The final week felt strangely normal. That's what disturbs me now, looking back. Nobody screamed. Nobody protested. People still attended meetings, still answered emails, still discussed quarterly projection as the company quietly erased itself around us. Human beings adapt to almost anything. That's both our greatest strength and our greatest weakness. Then came Monday morning, 7:15 train downtown. Gray skies, silent commuters. I remember a little girl sitting across from me, asking her mother why so many buildings downtown were dark now. The mother didn't answer immediately. Finally, she just said, "Things are changing." The train arrived at my stop exactly on time. I walked 3 blocks through cold wind toward the office tower. For a moment, everything looked normal. Traffic lights, digital billboards, delivery drones crossing overhead. The illusion still held from a distance. Then I reached the front entrance. I swiped my badge. The scanner blinked red. Access denied. I frowned. Tried again. The same result. Behind the glass doors, the lobby looked darker than usual. No receptionist, no security guard, just empty marble floors, reflecting pale morning light. I checked my phone. No email, no termination notice, no explanation, nothing. People walked past me on the sidewalk without slowing down. Thousands of lives continuing normally around a man who had just quietly stopped existing inside this system. I stood there for a long time, holding the useless badge in my hand. And the strange part was, I wasn't angry. Not really. Just tired. Like I had finally reached the end of something that had been dying for years. A maintenance drone rolled across the lobby floor behind the glass, cleaning a building already becoming irrelevant. That image stayed with me. Machines maintaining empty spaces for absent people. I think that was the moment I understood what the collapse truly was. Not destruction, replacement. Civilization hadn't failed. It had simply moved on without us. And standing there outside those locked glass doors, for the first time in my life, I honestly didn't know if the world still had a place for people like me anymore.